lot of musicians, they have ability, they have skills, but they don't know how to place the discipline. James Brown, if you listen to, if you play a James Brown song out there, that's where George Clinton come from.
Exactly.
If you play a James Brown song out there, it'll move the whole crowd, and it's basically one or two things: discipline. One player playing one thing the whole way. Discipline. Everybody got their parts, and you got it. You got the space. You don't cover every space, so you got to know how to have the discipline to be simple and make you like it. You understand? But that's and what I played a whole lot of stuff covering. It's not all about that, but simple. And I was in this after
like
last
Miles
2 days.
Too, I can tell.
I love Miles. Space is music because it give you time to set up the next place. It's almost like when somebody does a turnaround. When it comes around the next time, when that one comes around, it almost busts your chest out. Since we've been out, you know, different markets, different things happen in the industry that may dictate what a group may do. Whether it's an old school group or whatever, you know, we spent a lot of time in Europe. You know, one time old school didn't even have radio from, say, around about, we didn't have like until the classic soul stations started coming back and they started spreading with syndication and done, you know, at one time it was just in the late 90s, I believe the 90s or something. In the late 90s, or mid 90s. Mid-90s, I would say.
That's when it came
93. Back. No, it wasn't there. You know, every city was just basically what you call, it wasn't even hip hop then. It was just like stand-up groups and young groups and rap until our friend Tom Joyner kind of started going at the older groups. And at that time, they started calling us old, which most of us didn't like the word old school when it first came.
That's good. Oh, we do have a level?
Yeah. Because really old school to us meant like you was finished. And we used to say, you know, what do you mean old school? We the school. You know, mostly because it came like this. You know, and unfortunately in black music, it's always labels and it moves fast. It's, you know, it's constantly turning. That's only really happened in black music. In the industry, treat the black music like black musicians like that in our music, because it's always in our audience, the people always want something new. So it's always been a turn.
You married? Do you find that to be true, or?
Yes. Yes.
Not to get too far away from your response about the labels, do you feel that record companies impose those labels, or do we ourselves begin to call our artists old school?
I don't think I think it, you know, it's always, I don't know where it comes from. Could be like a culture. I don't know where it came from, just the generation, or it came from radio. Because one time radio really, just like that now, it's better now, but maybe 6 years, 7 years ago, 10 years ago, when they start playing, they rather play our old stuff than some new stuff. They really didn't know where to put it. That's what they would say. We don't know where to place it. We got no market. We don't know how to market it, because it's not this, it's not that. You know. So that's why it took like groups like us, who've been constantly recording, up until the internet came in. It was hard to deal with the majors and stuff like that. You couldn't get a situation, and radio really didn't do it. You know, many groups have cut and recorded, but as far as getting it the time and place and radio, we can't get that anymore because it's moved on to another generation. That's understood, because most of your buyers are the young kids who basically, it's always been that way, who have disposable income. And they buy more records, and it's always been that way, you know.
So, but the sound, I mean, what's amazing about these shows is that, you know, between rappers and new artists that sample and cover your music, and just the huge fan base that you had back in the 80s, I mean, these shows really bring people together. I mean, do you get a sense of that when you're on the road and you get to?
Well, you speak. I got some. I want
to. Yes, it brings us together in the fact that the people of our age, they played our music, so their kids got a chance to hear our music, and then they, when the rappers came about and started sampling it, then it gave that generation, you know, a chance to really see after we came back, like he said, when Tom brought, I think that Tom Joyner was the one who started old school stations, because there were quite a few of them that came about. So it gave them a chance, because I remember my nephew and when the rappers started sampling our music, would come to say, well, Auntie, hey, have you heard this? This is fat, you know. And I said, that's nothing new. You know, that's been around for a long time, you know.
I'm not getting a level.
Oh, you have to crank it up, I guess.
Okay. And you mentioned the sampling as well.
Just give us a test 1, 2.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Channel 2.
1, 2.
It's just slight. Stop it for a second. Okay.
Cut. Okay. All right. So I guess we have to start that question over. I apologize for that.
No problem.
So we're talking about Tom Joyner and the importance of him, like being a spark to reignite this part of our culture.
Yes, well, when he came about and brought old school back, that gave the younger kids a chance to really listen to, and plus the fact that when we came up, we all played music. As of to rappers, they sampled a lot of stuff, you know, so that gave them a chance. Like people have come up to me and say, well, hey, you know, I remember you back in such and one particular young man came up. We did a military tour in 83, I think it was.
83, 84, so
yeah. And he came up and said, well, hey, you know, you all were really instrumental in helping us went through the war that we were going through, and it helped them to, I would say, get through it.
Yeah.
And that was really a blessing. So the kids, I like the kids sampling our stuff because, like Raul said, it gives us a fresh, new look on them coming and listening to our stuff, and it keeps us abreast out here, like this concert right here. You got a lot of crowd out there that's not only old school, but it's new school too. You know, so they get a chance to see who really did the music back in the day.
And you guys aren't that old. I mean, you're still shaking it out there.
Oh yeah, we do. But see, and to add to Mary, see, what you have to understand, like Mary said, we come up playing, but it's what is given to you. See, in my generation, it was so, everybody had a U-Haul. I've been performing most of my life, you know, when I was a teenager. And I had it in my school system. It was in the school system, it was in high schools, it was there. You know, I got a scholarship on a music scholarship. Now, you know, today, and we had clubs to play in. There's no live clubs, there are few of those. The money's not really in the school system for, you know, for music. There's been times that's been totally taken out. And that's why you didn't have musicians. That's why the kids, what they did is always, they have creative minds. They took what they had. Right. They wasn't musicians, but they had the technology. They knew the technology. They didn't want no technology with it. So they would take things, they wouldn't know what the instrument it was initially. But they know what they like, they know how to put this together. I don't know what it is, I take this part, this part. I don't know what it is, but I like this. I like this guitar part, I like that. So they used what they had. But most of them, that's why, you know, even like the old, until now, the older guys, the older musicians was playing, because that's where all the musicians still was. You know, so now it's been a generation coming, and if you look at black college, black high schools, when you see the numbers in the bands, you're gonna see more bands, more musicians, and more artists coming out. And just like the churches, you get that. That's like a venue for you to polish. You have to have somewhere to practice and polish your craft. Right. You have to have that place. Bebop, it was an era. They said, what hip hop? Hip hop is just basically an era. Funk was an era. It depends on your generation, so it's all labels, it's all eras, you know.
Right. Well, let's break it down. I mean, because it's not completely different. I mean, let's break down how you came up with one of your songs. I guess you did "Take Your Time, Do It Right" was one of the songs you performed. Like, I mean, does that come out of one person being creative, or is it a jam? You come up with the music first, and then lyrics come, or I mean, what's the process of putting together a record like that?
Well, that particular process came from Sagidi Abdul, who wrote the song, and Clarence heard the song. Clarence Avant is CEO was at Taboo label, and Sagidi did basically the basic tracks, and he brought it to us. And because of the fact that we had in our group at that particular time, we were playing in a club in Atlanta called the Regal Room, and each of us had background in all different type of music. So when he brought the song to us, because one person had a jazz flavor, one person had a rock flavor, one person had gospel flavor, so all that came about in the studio after he brought the basic to us. We put, you know, our own creativity into that.
So you guys have been performing in and around Atlanta for years prior to getting signed? Is that the road?
Yes, we played in one club. We started out playing in the Regal Room like 2 nights a week, and it went from 2 nights a week to 7 nights a week. And we got like this. We got real tight, real tight.
That's how we discovered.
Yes, discovered.
You know, during that time you had gigs you could play like that. You had clubs, you had
clubs,
venues,
yes.
Live entertainment. You had live entertainment that you could do, and that's what I'm saying. We came out of that era that we had is like, you know, and you had to rehearse. You had the band would kick your butt. You had to play. You had to practice. You had to put the time in. So what we did tonight is what we're used to. We're performing and putting on shows and just entertaining. We enjoy that, feeding off the audience. Let that trend, because you get a thing that go between you and the audience. It transcends. You can feel it. You know, the music is like a friend of mine told me. If you can feel something you're playing in your heart.
Yes, someone else.
If you can feel something in your heart, someone else feels in that. If it comes from your heart, and you can feel it, and it make you feel a certain way, teary or emotional or something like. Someone else picked that. That's divine. That's God sent. So that's how we're made as human beings. You know.
That's awesome. And SOS is initials for?
Well, it stands for Sounds of Success, and the song that we play, SOS, that's what it came from. But we've also used it for like Satisfaction on stage and Sounds of the South.
Yeah.
Some people say same old stuff.
Yeah, but it Sounds of Success.
But
very good name.
Yeah.
Okay, so all right, just paint the picture for me, and then we can sort of put this together. We got some good stuff right now. So, I mean, how old were you guys when you first met? Did you know you were going to form a band? I mean, was Mary always the great singer?
Well, I was the last piece of the puzzle, so Mary had to tell you how they came. I was like the last part of the puzzle.
Okay. Also, did you play an instrument?
I play a little drums, that's about it. Just a little drum.
If she had kept playing, she could be pretty funk. She had a vibe on drum, you know, she messed around, you know.
And how did the SOS band come to?
SOS came about, like I said, at the Regal Room. The Regal Room was like a strip in Atlanta that had different clubs that had different bands at that particular time.
It was on the strip.
On the strip, right.
No, Camilton Road.
Camilton
Road.
Yeah.
That was just the area in Atlanta that had clubs all down back during that time.
You can go from one club to the other.
All night.
Just
like the late 70s or
late 70s. Late 60s, early 70s.
Okay. So you're running not many young people with money yet.
Yeah.
No, there was some money there. Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, it wasn't like the basketball player.
Oh no, not that broad.
Well, you know, none of this, they weren't getting money like the kids are getting today.
Exactly.
Nobody was getting that money. Yeah, oh,
definitely. Had the thin ties. Yeah. Jerry Curl, no.
Oh yeah,
Jerry Curl. Jerry Curl's thing was in the 80s, you know. That's when you wetting up the pillows, you know, you wet up everything. You get
oh boy. So
the wet look.
See the club.
Yeah. So they were looking for a band to one of the house band. They called it house band. House band were getting ready to leave at that particular time. So the owner was looking for another band to replace that one. So Jason, who was our keyboard player, he had just came. He usually go over to Japan like 6 months and then come back to the States 6 months. So Lamar told him, because they had like an amateur hour night on Saturdays. I mean, during the day on Saturdays. And everybody who played any type of instrument, they will gravitate to that particular club because they got a chance to show off their craft. You know, it was just like a jam session, in other words.
Jam session.
Yes. So he liked Jason because Jason would play every time he come from Japan. And I had just moved from New York at that particular time. And I went by and I sang, and he liked my voice. So he said to Jason, well, why don't you and Mary get together and hire some other musicians, and y'all can come in and I'll hire you, you know, for 6 months period of time. That's how they ran the band, 6 months at a time. So we did. Jason knew the musicians, so he got everybody together, and we rehearsed and we rehearsed and we rehearsed until we were ready, and then we went and played in the club.
Okay. It's like a lounge act or original songs?
We did top 10.
Okay.
And after we got, because of the fact that we rehearsed so much, we did some original stuff as well.
Got it. And so you're working up, were you trying to get a record deal at that point?
Yes, at that particular time, Bunny Ransom, who was Maynard Jackson's wife at the time, she knew Clarence Avant, and Clarence was looking for someone a group to sign up. And we went in the studio and did a demo and sent it to, she sent it to him, and he liked, you know, what he heard. So then that's when he sent Sagidi to us, you know, because he knew Sagidi out in L.A. So he sent Sagidi down with Take Your Time, and from Take Your Time,
And Bunny was our manager there.
Right.
She wound up being our manager of Jackson.
Awesome. So, and what were some of the hits? Just so, Philip.
well, Take Your Time was our first hit. That song, and I thank the Lord today, because we played in that club, like I said, from 2 nights and went to 7 nights. So we were really tight. And when that song came out, nobody really expected it to move up as fast as it did. So we were really tight. And then we went on tour with that particular song, 1979 to 1980.
Yeah, 1970, 1969, 70.
It was kind of a fresh sound. I mean, it doesn't
79, 80. You're right.
79,
Oh, yeah, 79, 80.
So I'll tell you a secret. At one point, the S.O.S. was out of print, and I got a hold of a few, and I was able to get like 40, 50 bucks for them on eBay when eBay first started.
Is that
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it was. You couldn't get it
Yeah,
for a long time.
yes.
People
Before they
just
put it out,
wanted it.
yeah.
They were
Exactly.
craving for
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And I was like, wow. Okay.
Well, we was at a great time because we came and we after Sagidi came, Sagidi, he brought this style of bass and synthesizer combination, and right before the disco thing came in, it was like, take your time. If you listen to it, it has several breaks,
Right.
guitar break, bass break. See, everybody wasn't doing all that kind of stuff, and each one, even the long version, each break, when that music come back in, and you feel a certain way. So he took that, and then after we did the Take Your Time, then and toured a whole 6 months with the Isley Brothers, with their last major tour as a group together.
With O'Kelly.
Yeah, with all those guys. One of the biggest tours we've ever done.
Yes.
We hadn't seen it like that
It
since.
was, who?
As a matter of fact, I thought it was going to be that way. I didn't see it. And after that, we toured with the Commodores before Lionel left. So that whole year, it was just like...
Well, that song was a hit. It
Yeah.
stayed on the chart as #1 for 7 weeks. And we went to 109 cities within 6 months' time.
Wow.
We wore that bus out.
Yeah, we killed
Going
by
from
the cover,
Going from
killed.
one city to the other. And another thing too, the strategy was, because we were a new band, they didn't put our picture on the cover of the album, so nobody really knew what we looked like, you know, because at that particular time, when you would go take a record to a radio station, if you mail it to a white station, if it had our picture on it, it would automatically go into file 13, which is the garbage can. So the strategy was to not put our picture on it, so people would play the record. That's another reason why Take Your Time did a crossover thing too.
Yeah, they
And
wanted to know
then-
what the group was, which is
Right.
a very good concept. It was pretty smart. So whole thing was the logo was it, and no one had an idea. They just liked the music. And then
Exactly.
the group went until we toured. Then they said, "Oh, that's what it is."
Right.
You know.
Did you guys do American Bandstand back then?
We
No,
did.
American Bandstand was.
No, we didn't do
Was
Bandstand.
Bandstand still going?
Yeah,
At
Bandstand.
79?
We did Soul Train. We did
Midnight
Captain and
Star,
Neil's show.
Midnight Star, Solid Gold.
Solid
and
Gold.
All
yeah.
of them. Was Bandstand still doing?
Yeah, Bandstand was out there.
97,
We didn't do
79,
Bandstand.
Yeah, definitely.
67?
definitely.
Yeah.
But no music video for the first single.
No.
No, we didn't get the music. Yeah, we waited too long.
I'm
Man, that
telling you.
thing took off. We didn't even have equipment when Take Your Time to come out. We
Exactly.
used some of our co-members, a musician who was Brick. Brick was the first group out of Atlanta. And their manager was married to one of the guys. And they was already formed because Brick had a major hit. So So
hit, right.
we started out with it using that whole crew. I mean, it took off. All of a sudden, we did got. Guess what? You're on the Isley Brothers tour.
Exactly.
You know, we did a little mini tour for a minute. We didn't do that what about a week or two. We was on the Isley Brothers tour, and they, like now, the hottest group is always on the tour.
Right.
They kind of pull. It's even today, the one with the hottest record be on the tour. You get less time, so we was able to do those same cities because you was only getting 30 minutes.
That's
that.
And we were getting 15 minutes when we first started.
So you know, they use the strategy is to use the name
right
to pull in people. You
exactly.
never see that, so we were able to go back to those cities.
It's Alan Heyman production.
Yes.
Yes,
People started complaining.
Yeah.
Because they only gave, we were the opening act,
and they get there and we gone.
They only gave us 15 minutes, and you know how some people don't like to come to concerts until late, people that they want to see.
Yeah,
so they figured we were going to be further down on the list.
Yeah.
So people started asking for their money back, and then so we were able to go up. You know, plus our show now.
Go back though.
Our
That helped
show,
us go back to those cities two or
our
three
show
times.
was tight
Right.
too.
Yeah, that helped us go. That afforded us the way to go back to those shows,
To the
those
cities.
cities.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, that's really what you brought about the album is really interesting. It's kind of fitting that we're here at a Funkadelic show because it's sort of like the album cover was your music video for a long time. It helped create the mystique.
Yeah, exactly.
For the artist, and it's something we don't. The music video kind of killed that, I think, in a way. I mean, can you speak to that era of
what music videos?
Just,
the mystique
albums? Just what
albums?
Just put an album out versus a single, and the audience's anticipation being built up above, like Earth, Wind and Fire. You know, you could spend while you're listening to the album. The cover is sort of like the video.
The art,
right.
yeah, exactly what it was.
Your imagination goes into the cover.
Right.
And then at a certain point, the buy decision gets made. Okay, I'm gonna go see them and come to town.
Right, exactly.
So, I mean, that seems like a lost thing. I mean.
Yeah, but with videos now, you know, you can't. Today you have to have a video. The video is very important. It wasn't really important for us.
No.
It was like you must do a video.
Right.
Back in our day, then we started doing them. What, Just the Way You Like It, Borrowed Love, and Tell Me If You Still Care. I think Tell Me If You Still Care was our first video. Wasn't it?
No, Just the Way You Like It, I think it was.
No, Tell Me the Blimp.
The blimp, that's the blimp.
Just the Way You Like It is black.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's the black one.
Tell Me, it was because that's yeah.
Huh?
They put you in a
The blimp. No, the blimp was the album. It was like it was a cool album.
It was a cover. It was on the
cool
cover.
album. It was like a blimp S.O.S. album going. It was a real cool album. So we did the Tell Me If You Still Care.
Oh, I remember that song.
It was the first video we did.
Oh, you're gonna do that tonight.
No, we didn't have time.
We didn't have the time.
We have no time. We have no time.
Okay, so Juanita. So I mean, it's very interesting. So nowadays, a lot of artists might not even get a shot because of these videos. They have even more talent than what is seen because it's kind of split. I mean, that seems to be an issue a lot.
For us, today's artists.
Today's artists might not even get a break because it's so image oriented. Or do you see it changing with the internet, as you mentioned earlier?
But the internet is really the internet is done. It's made it. And technology, the industry didn't keep up with the technology. That's why you had the bootlegging and all this stuff, but they didn't keep up with it. And they're like behind it because everybody downloads and they can go this, and so the record sales are down. And you can go download to iTunes or whatever, and you can get those sales. So it's kind of hard on major acts, but what it does for acts, because with the majors you got record shops. In the record shops you have shelves. Only so many acts are going to get the shelf space. And the shelf space is based on the artist, the industry, who distributors tell the shelf. In other words, so you might not get it on this, but what it does help independents and people, the small guy, because ain't no, the internet is unlimited inventory.
I think Prince brought that. So Prince brought that about.
Well, Prince brought about the concept. He really helped it, and he was clever. I think he's one of the cleverest guys. He used that thing. He created his market. He went away from Warner's. He set his thing up. GP, something, what is
MPG?
Yeah, MPG, and he catered to his audience.
Yes.
And they had his fan club, and then they would know when everything's going on. So he had his whole fan base, and like this one night. So he really maximized how to do that. And being an icon, it was kind of easy for him to do that.
Right.
You know, it's almost like the sign. The sign came up because I understand that Warner's kept the name.
Right.
He said, I don't want the name. Put the
Right.
sign. My name is the sign.
Right.
And he kept going. See, so he's a clever guy. He's a musician. I just love him for his.
So how does this benefit the SOS band, and what do you guys? What's in the works for you guys next?
Well, like we were saying earlier, radio really don't know what to do with groups like it's getting it changes every year because now like what we call initially it was like these classic soul stations. They was the only station that plays. Now everybody's old school. If you're mature adult, you know you got a little group, but I can name some of these other acts. We having a hard time getting gigs because of them, like New Edition and all these.
They're considered old school.
All of them old. Everybody's old school. Boys and men, they old school. You old school. Keep Sweat, everybody old school. So it's broadened the whole thing that on the what they call the hip hop stations, we do get played on some of those stations.
Right.
We do get played, so it's opened that door up. But we're able to still use the internet to level the playing field because it's just about creating your audience, creating your market, and that's what we're trying to do. So you can once you start doing that, you control what you do. And like Prince, one of the cleverest things he did, when he's locked in a CD on the ticket, and you had to hit that bar every time you come in. Clever, he's a clever young man. He's a genius of a musician, and he's a clever guy. And you know, he just set the bar for everybody.
Just boost the sound.
Yes, one's coming out tomorrow. His newest one.
He's a clever guy.
Planet Earth.
Yeah, he's a clever guy.
He's tied in with the phone now too.
He's having phone. See, so you got the phone rings, all that. There's so many ways you can get it, but it's not necessarily coming through the stores. Retail is having a hard time. The mom and pop stores are having a hard time.
The internet just opened up a door for a lot of creativity as far as musicians are concerned.
Elaborate, because he's been talking a lot. I want to make sure we have enough to cut in.
Well, he's a talker. I'm not.
It's okay. It's okay.
Oh,
but I mean, you're equally brilliant. It sounds like you read The Long Tail, by the way. There's a book out called The Long Tail that talks about exactly what you're saying.
No, but I kind of stay up on it, and I make seminars, and I try to say because this is what we do.
Right.
So you have to find the angles in it, because music is not going anywhere. You just have to find the angles where it's best, where you fit it, because it's not like people are gonna get tired of listening to music. You have to find ways to do it, find how you can really take advantage of it.
That's perfect. All right. Well, any final thoughts?
No.
And did you have any questions?
No. As far as the we discussed the albums.
Or just look at me after when you answer the question. Pretend I asked it. That's all. Go ahead.
I guess a lot of today's artists lack what are called liner notes. Discussing, and I guess what we're trying to do is create a lot of liner notes that people didn't get. Information about music and all. Would you ever like to go back and discuss something like that? This is kind of, as far as what we're doing now, but we foresee our story being told and information necessary for today's students. A lot of the guys that are DJs now that are doing production work with samplers, they say now I want to play music. Like you said, what instrument was that? They want to learn how to play music now. So you telling them that this is what we did and this is how it's done, that would actually, I think, precipitate the growth in terms of the youth.
Okay, so do you have any advice for artists like, okay, maybe they're behind the curve as far as musicianship, but as far as creativity and ingenuity, I mean, black folks, that seems to be our creative gift.
What I would like to see happen is the older ones teach the younger ones. That's what we are lacking of, as far as I'm concerned. Because, like Rose said, they're trying to take, most of the schools now don't have PE, they don't have music in schools anymore except for chorus. And like I saw on was it BET? No, the Europe station the other day, where there was a musician that went into the school and they created a key position for him to teach kids how to play instruments. And that's what, I don't know what type of program that someone could generate that in most of your major cities. where you have like people like us, the old school, what they call, going to the schools and even volunteer. At church now, at my church, we have volunteers, people to come in and teach the young kids. Like kids don't have the opportunity to, that know history, that know music, that know whatever. And teachers that's not doing anything, we need to open up that door for the younger kids because it's lacking. It's lacking very much.
You need a stronger foundation. I mean, even if you're making a top 10 record, you still have to have the jazz chops. Or
it's good to be very well versed, you know, because it gives you, the more you know, the more information you can pull from. The more you have, the more you have to pull from. So I suggest, you know, you must be serious about your craft. You know, you practice. Learn everything about the business. It's easier now. There's more information today than it was when we was coming through. There's more opportunities today than that was available for us. We had more than the guys before us. There's always going to be more because you keep advancing, you keep advancing. So the kids now know more. It's more, you know, jazz, as you mentioned jazz, you can, it's so much information on jazz. You know, you find a seminar, a DVD, you know, you can play and see these clinics. So you can see, I can see what Charlie Parker was doing. I can see what Earl Clue or Benson was doing. You can see that. So if you get the information, it's just gather information. And the one thing, the online it's got a bad side, but it's got a good side because it closes to give you so much information. It's like in the media. Now they have to tell us more because you can go online and find a real story. So you can't, even like the war we're dealing with, it's different from Vietnam. You know, all that information is up front. It's global. Everything's global. It's fast. You know, it's not even about, speaking about internet, it's not about SOS Band dealing with just America or Atlanta. It's global. You know, the global market is open. The internet opens up everything for everybody. It makes it a level playing field for everyone, especially the small guy. Because all he has to do is get his blogs and stuff going, create a fan base, and start communicating. Prints. Feed your fan base. And then it just spread, get your website, get your emails, create that kind of situation. So that's what we're planning on doing.
Lastly, you mentioned Japan, loving Japan and London, and just being your favorite cities because they appreciate our culture. Do you feel as though we are losing or giving away our culture? I think a lot of times we create things and then we kind of move.
Ooh, that's a house phone name.
Okay.
That's your phone?
No,
That sounds like a kitchen phone. That's like a phone in somebody's house.
Someone's bad.
It's Steve's phone.
That phone is so loud. Just cook it on.
okay, yeah, okay.
But we create things and kind of move on. So are we at a place right now where we kind of giving away soul? I mean, you got Thick out there now. You got a lot of artists that are promoted as soul artists per se. How do we regain that, or is it important that we maintain that as our cultural music?
Again, like I said, teaching our kids. You know, they don't know a lot about history. You know, a lot of parents don't know our history. Like Raul said, go to the internet and go to the library and just one-on-one. You know, when you have a child that comes to you, and some of them don't, then you're just in communication, just talking to them about what's going on, you know, and volunteering our time. We don't volunteer our time to teach our young kids anything, and that we need to start doing.
Japan and Germany, you know, at one time that's where groups like us had to live because they never let live music go. So that's why it has always been like that. From back in the bebop days. That's where the jazz cat went. That's where they got more respect at.
Exactly.
That's where they felt at home. That's where they felt more creative because the people would appreciate that music. You go to those countries like that, they just appreciate what you do. So I guess we get it so regular. We know we're a hard audience anyway. We're hard on ourselves. We change. We always want something to do because I guess we do it. We know what's good, you know. But they're a great audience. They appreciate good stuff. And they keep the live stuff. So I appreciate anyone that supports live entertainment, because we need that. We need that. I appreciate anyone that support. My thing is, even in the city of Atlanta, I would always gravitate to young. If you're playing music and you're a young guy, I support you, I help you. Because their generation needed that.
That's what they need.
You need that. I would always, you playing music, you're a musician, let's do this.
Yeah.
Because really it's not many. And you can learn how to do, I'm doing a project now that I'm combining some of the young stuff with also with some of the young acts, like some of the rap acts and some of the older guys and young musicians, great musicians, young guys and older musicians, bring them together, and I'm showing them that you really can do it. You don't have to say the language.
That's what's
you got a great craft. You got great music, but you have to use certain language that really violate people's whole image, and ladies and the women just degrade your whole your culture. You understand? Because really the industry push that. They push that on them.
Exactly.
And they pay you for it. So it's anything that's selling. So all this, you have to really watch it and stick to what you think is right. It'll always work out. It'll work out. So you have to really do that. Fight for what you think is right.
Like even now, what you all are doing, bring some young kids in. Teach them the ropes. You know, teach them what you're doing. Tell them what's going on. Because they don't know our history. A lot of our kids are really dying as far as our history is concerned. You know, because they don't know where we came from. So they can't be, how can they be proud of their history when they don't know? And a lot of parents don't know, so they can't teach their kids. So we are the ones that know, then we are the ones supposed to be teaching them.
Whenever you can.
Well, oh, definitely.
Sometimes it's hard to get through to them.
No, but you'll be surprised. They're willing and able, and they will learn, but this is the approach that the way you approach them. Yeah.
Red pill, blue pill.
Yeah.
Exactly, because when we came up, we were told. You know, we had filmmakers like you know, that documented different things, slavery, that documented how they lynched us. You know, we saw this. You know, in Harlem. You know, we saw all this, but the kids today, they don't see this.
They don't know how they got the opportunity.
Exactly.
They don't know where we came from.
No, they don't.
You know, so what opportunity comes, they don't know really what people paid to do that.
Yes.
You know, so it's that. So we have to kind of tie that in and keep that information live, because it's not just by chance that it happened.
So that gives you a greater appreciation for your art.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, yes.
And life itself, because, you know, I've seen difference. I remember when I used to see, when I was a kid, I remember seeing colored water. I was a kid, I remember seeing that.
Oh, yeah.
I remember my mother had to go in the back door.
Hello.
I remember when, you know, when Martin Luther King, with the riot, you know, trying to be a freedom fighter and all this, and what we was fighting the cause. You know, when people really didn't want to be black.
Exactly.
You call somebody black, you got whooped. We was Negroes.
That's for sure.
You know, until blackness came in, to that reverse psychology came in. You know, James Brown had a lot to do with that. The black Muslims had a lot to do with the Black Panthers and all that. Yes. That blackness was a reverse psychology for us who really had been put in a situation like that, that really didn't couldn't appreciate who we really were. Yep. So we had to get that pride, black pride. And
all right, and then you have to school me. I don't need it for us to take so long. Sounds of Success of the 80s, black folks were like kind of puppy-eyed at that point. I mean, it was complete crossover by the time Cosby hit the air. And I think a lot of gangster rap is a reaction to that image in particular, you know, of the black urban professional. I mean, what kind of lifestyle were you promoting, projecting, trying to emulate by the time you came of age?
With Cosby?
No, for you, as when you're touring Sounds of Success. I mean, it was a little post-funkadelic era. I know you guys weren't on stage.
Yeah, but that's what I come up with. I'm a James Brown fan.
Okay.
I was a kid. I know every James. I played every one of them. So that was my base.
I know.
You know, James Brown fan. That's me. Yeah. We was talking about him tonight. I've been listening the last 2 days. I've been listening to number James Brown, Hot Pants, and and we was talking about the simplicity, and what we do now, and musicians now, you know, sometimes I play a lot of musicians. They have ability, they have skills, but they don't know how to place the discipline. James Brown, if you listen to, if you play a James Brown song out there, that's where George Clinton come from.
Exactly.
If you play a James Brown song out there, it'll move the whole crowd, and it's basically one or two things: discipline. One player playing one thing the whole way. Discipline. Everybody got their parts, and you got it. You got the space. You don't cover every space, so you got to know how to have the discipline to be simple and make you like it. You understand? But that's and what I played a whole lot of stuff covering. It's not all about that, but simple. And I was in this after
You
the
like
last
Miles
2 days.
too, I can tell.
I love Miles.
I can tell.
Space is music because it give you time to set up the next place. It's almost like when somebody does a turnaround. When it comes around the next time, when that one comes around, it almost busts your chest out. You know, when that groove just starts going over and over again, from 8 to 16, and they come back doing, they go to that one, bam, you like, you right there.
You know how to play the silence. Little Jimmy Scott said a lot of artists today don't know how to play the silence.
No, you got to have space for you to hit the rest. So you got to have that. But it's just, man, Brown had to kill me this week. I was like, ooh.
I'll have to get you James Brown compilation. Tribute. All right, so yeah, if you could both look into the lens, introduce yourselves, and say you're watching Real Black TV, and got a great interview.
Okay, we want to say we're watching Real Black TV together?
If you can.
Yeah. Okay, we said, and you're watching Real Black TV. You're going to say yourself and I say mine.